like that track. What happened there? What's up, dude? Welcome, you're the first one. All good. Oh, I'm glad it's helping. Thank you. Oh, I have plenty of bullshit, don't worry about it. Fuck sleep. Philippines. I dig your garlic rice. It's good shit. I just love guitars with high action. It's just better. It's just better. Like this one is just... Oh, thank you so much, Zamoku. Appreciate it. This sucks jellyfish cock? You don't like A7? You don't like just hanging out on an A7 forever? Watching me practice my fingerstyle guitar? Unbelievable.
Just like when things are packed tidy and tight. Get auto insurance that fits your budget.
What's up, Chua?
Save up to 10%.
Do you think fast playing is overrated in general? If anything, I think it's underrated because like nobody can do it. It's a sewer. I don't know where they're located. I don't think it's Mexico. It's oh, my mom's here. Makoe. I believe they're in California, which is basically Mexico. So yes. I gave up on my fingers. Oh, you like my JTC course? Thank you. It's the only one I did for them because I felt it was the wrong platform for me. I was just like, why am I making video content for them and sharing the money with them where I could just make video for me? Like what, you know, in the beginning, it's like, you know, I don't know, like, you know, 15 years ago, it made so much sense to collaborate with these bigger platforms, but now you're just driving your traffic to them. It just makes no sense to not do everything on your own. So I did one, and I'm glad I did it. They're very nice people, but it just the model just makes no sense anymore. Spain, what's up, Juan? Dolomite, oh yeah. Bossa. Gotta tune up a bit. Blue Bossa. Sure, let's play Blue Bossa. Blue Bossa backing track. Do you know Sweet Child of Mine? Never heard of that one. Is that a jazz tune? That's economy picking. Thank you. Join Patreon. Thanks for having me and offering all the content on your page. Yeah, our Patreon is the best Patreon out of all the Patreons, and I say that with absolute certainty. It's just true. A new Donnelly 250. Let's see. If they have it, I can do it. Donnelly 250. I see 200. I see 160. I see 120. I see 240. I think that's a shitty backing track company. How about... Yeah, the fastest I can see here is 200. But let's see, maybe they'll let me.
Johnson, why are you naked? Because my t-shirt sucks. Look at Gibson. He's wearing a true classic tee. If it's a tight... He.
Let's see. So, let's see. Make it a little faster. Okay. It's 250-ish. Let's see, what kind of whiskey you're drinking? I don't know. A friend brought it over, and I didn't read the label, but it's good. I'm drinking good whiskey. Those are nice changes. I always like Donnelly. A lot of times the fast shit people play is bad songs, but this one's good. Let's see. You take breaths in between phrases as if you're playing a horn. Yeah, it's good to do that. Let's see. How high the moon? How does that go? Is that bo do do day? No, do de da bo do day. No, that's out of nowhere. How high the moon? Which one's how high the moon? How high the moon? Oh yeah. That one. Is there like a non-gypsy jazz one, or is it just gypsy jazz? How high the moon? It's just like when it's like on the beats like that, you know. We're stuck with this fucking thing. Somebody needs to start another like standards like backing track channel. I'm gonna be rich. The only one is like that improvisation French channel, and he kind of sucks. But he's like really the only one. Everybody else is just doing like band in a box kind of shit. It's awful. Anyway, we're stuck with this guy. brain is rough. All right. Do you give private lessons? I do. You should email me at dannyhrubin@gmail.com. DANIHRABIN. But I'm fairly solidly booked for the next couple of months, so I can put you on the waiting list. Would you mind explaining a couple of approaches you use playing over the repeating 2-5, like T for 2? Yeah. Yeah, it's not a problem. Is Lady Bird a slept on tune for newcomers? It's all right. Let's see. Where do you see jazz going in the next 10 years? Well, if it keeps going, then it's going to be really poopy. If it's keep going the way it's going. With humming like that, you're one step away from scat. Oh yeah. You gotta be a little bit of a scat lady. I hate playing a game with like gypsy jazz backing. That's the thing. But yeah, when you have a lot of 2-5s, 2-5s are just 5s, right? It's a suspended 5 to a 5. If you're thinking about like, D minor to G7, you put a G root on it. Here's your D minor. Here's your G7. The only thing moving is that. So the first thing you want to do is get out of this, like, T for 2. So in that melody, the suspension is really what you're hearing. So they're targeting the suspension, but you don't have to play like that in your solo. Like if you highlight any other moment of change, note-wise, then you're really not doing that whole back to back 2-5 2-5 motion, which is a positive. Like it's good to hit that sometimes, but it points like you're always outlining. That's the way to think about that. And if you're outlining 2-5s, kind of like you see like two beats, then your lines have this boxiness to them. Like they just feel like they're changing at the half note all the time. And that's not how jazz phrasing works. It's freer than that. So the first thing you want to, even if you're trying to play 2-5 lines, make that change happen not on beat 3. So like you don't want all your licks to be like boo do do be do bo do be do, like do bo do di do do de, right? Like not do do da di do do de do do da di do, or like bo do da di da. What I sang was actually good. Bo do da di do do de. So it's like that's delayed. It's as if you're going like bo do da di do do de be da do do be do do de da da. So like that's like a longer 2-ish sound. Again, I'm not thinking about the 2-5, but if you're gonna do that, don't do that in the same spot and time all the time, because your lines are gonna sound boxy. So if you're just kind of playing freely on the 5 chord, there's a lot of shit you can do. Just ignore the 2. I don't know, like. Just playing on that sound. A really good sound to lean in on would be like the A minor 6, D, like F sharp minor 7 flat 5. That's what Django would do. So you're really ignoring the D note. You're not really including it in the sound, the root of the 5 chord. So even though, like with Django's music, a lot of time, like in T4-2, it would just be a D. Just be like they'll simplify the harmony to just be a 2 chord, or sorry, just be a 5 chord. But on the 5, you'll play the 2 minor 6 sound, which is like the upper structure of that D7, right? So that's the sound. But without ever getting to that D note. That's a nice sound on the D. So you don't have to go crazy with like altered scales or diminished stuff to make it interesting. I think in general, people, like, I don't want to say you go and visit these places prematurely, because, it's good to check out everything. But they put too much weight on changing scales and not enough weight on finding cool ass melodies with the scale that you're actually using. There's like so much stuff you can find in Mixolydian that's actually good. Most melodies are not made from, you know, on the dominance from like these weird scales. They're just made from major scale stuff. So if you find that your jazz playing is lacking, you want to just be patient with making jazz melodies from the major scale, you know, and from blues scale stuff, and from approaching the major scale, you know, from thinking ahead. I think like the main thing that people hear about, you know, you hear people like Barry Harris talk about it in like, you know, 50s Ebonics, and it's just like so mystical sounding, like you don't understand what the words mean. Like, you know, it's like, oh man, you gotta think ahead, and it's just like Black Yoda talking to you. You just don't understand what the words are. But when you break it down in English, you know, thinking ahead means that there's a note coming and you're thinking in relationship to that note that's in the future, as opposed to the note that you are playing from. So we all know what thinking, let's call it behind, means. That's thinking intervallically, right? So if I'm playing on a D7 and I'm trying to come up with a line, I can explain it in relationship to this thing that happened already. Like I'm playing a D and then I'm playing a couple notes. I can say that's the 1, 2, 3, 5 of D. That's thinking to a previous point that happened, right? After I play the D, the next couple of notes, I'm thinking behind to what happened, to that D. But now let's say that I want to play something into the note that I'm going to. So that's a target, right? That's in the future. So after that D, I'm saying, well, I want to go to the third of D. But now I want to encircle that note in some way. I want to approach it. So I can approach it from a half step below and then a neighbor tone from above. But in my mind, I'm not saying, ooh, I'm like, even though it's on a D chord, I'm not saying that's the flat, that's whatever, the sharp 2, the 4, then to the 3 of D. I'm thinking about what it is in relationship to where I'm going. And this thinking ahead is what's the missing component in, let's say, jazz thinking philosophy for rock players, because they think about everything as it emerges from the roots that they just hit. And it forces you to think differently. It's what walking bass lines. You literally can't walk a bass line if you don't think ahead, because a lot of the information is just note approaching the next note, right? Like that's like a 1, 6, 2, 5 in G. G, note going to the 6, note going to the 2, note going to the 5. If you think about it like 1 flat 6 6, flat or sharp flat 2 2, sharp 4 5, you're screwed. I can't even say it, you know. So yeah. Let's see. Oh shit, Rob is out here defending Barry. Rob. I love you, Rob. Let's see. I think Josh Smith talks about this. Passing tone helps him. Yeah, he does talk. He talks about like approaching a chord from a half step up, like dominance. Yeah. This is just enclosure, right? It's enclosure, but you can, if you gotta change your thinking. So it's like you can learn anything as licks, but like the point is you want to train yourself to think in time. If the kind of thinking you bring to it isn't the correct or the helpful kind of thinking to play well, then what good is it? It's you don't want to become just a lick player. You want to have ideas and be able to reach for them, and I think that's the point. And there's a sort of thinking that goes hand in hand with that. Enclosures in time while improvising. Yeah, but like if you're thinking about everything sort of, if you're never shooting a note ahead, then I mean I don't mean this in like, again, it's really not a mystical thing. Like you can, I'll show you how to hear it. So if I take like the first chord in this song is a G, right? That so that they're playing like a, so that's like just a G chord, G major. So if I just take those beats, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, and I put notes of a G arpeggio on the beats. So imagine those points like anchors. Now I'm going to take, now what you want to hear is boo 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 do 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 day boo 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 be boo do de bo do do de da 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 de. Just approaches to everyone. Do 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 da. So forget about the notes, just the rhythm. Going from boo do ding 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 da boo dia 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 boo dia dia. That's thinking ahead into those notes. I'm filling those gaps, but I'm putting approach notes in time, and I'm imagining what it does to the phrase. Boo dia 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 be ba be de 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 right? So that's a kind of melodic thinking. And if I put them on the off beats, like 1 2 3 4, cat do cat 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 tat cat 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 cat, so to cat dia 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 to cat do. So now I'm putting those approaches on the beats, right? To die 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 the ya, to die 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 the ya. So I'm teaching myself to hear it the other way, right? And I might want to use that. Right. Dia 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 dia. So you can hear it both ways, but again, this kind of thing just lets you put more things on the way to where you're going, right? Targeting the next thing in time. So yeah, I don't know if yeah. Anyways, enough of the jazz show. Opinions on Stratocaster versus Telecaster for jazz. I think Telecaster is more common in traditional jazz, thinking of Julian Lage. You know, that's kind of like, you know, comparing like, I don't know, like a tractor and a power drill to hang a picture. So you should play a 175 or like an L5 or a jazz guitar for jazz. They're both mismatched. You can, you know, some people make a Strat work, some people make a Tele work, but you know, it's both. It's like, you know, even when Julian does it, it's kind of like not the right instrument for it, really. I mean, just being honest, it's not that he sounds bad doing it, but it's that rocky sound. I do like the confidence that some people, like Julian, like when he just showed up with the telly, it was just like it was like he had this air about him, like I invented the Telecaster, you know, and I like Julian a lot. I saw his trio live once, and it was a great show. Like he's a great player, and really like good improviser. Like, you know, you go see him live and it's an experience. I can't say that about a lot of people. I saw a lot of people, it was a fucking shitty experience, but he's not one of those people at all. But like his energy, it's like the energy of a person. Like if every day at 6 a.m. you wake up and like somebody like from the other, it's like, you're a genius, you know, just like you just walk down the street, it's like genius, you know. It's just like when you hear it every day, it's just like it's like you can see that it's like it's true, but he also believes it, you know. It's like he heard it a lot, and it's so like it's such a powerful thing, you know. It's because he's just like, and it's all like this like joyous like thing, like it's like I've surprised myself, like, you know. And it's just like I'm sure he like listens to his music and cries, you know. And it's like, and it's beautiful, and I'm not even criticizing it. It's just how he is. He's just like that kind of guy. It's fucking crazy. Guthrie also humble. Yeah, no, I'm not talking about humble. I'm talking about like, you know, just like talk like Michael Jackson, like over the top, like sensitive, happy. He's a man of the time, you know. It's like you can see how Zoomers love him. He's like safe, you know. It's just like, oh my God, like he doesn't curse, and you know, he probably smells good, and like whatever. Like he's a feminist. I don't know what. he's just a man of the time. He did write "Won't Back Down" by Tom Petty. How's it going? Do you know Mad Season? I do not. Have you seen Guthrie or the Aristocrats live? Incredible show. I cried my music for different reasons. That's right. We played Cruise to the Edge, and the Aristocrats were on the bill, and we actually had Marco Miniman sit in with us. We played So What? He was just like, we were like, come sit in with us. And then he sat in with us, and you're like, why do you want to play? It's just like, So What? Buddy Rich arrangement, you know, like a German accent. We're like, is that like So What? It's just like, yeah. It's just like, all right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. What's your go-to Chinese food order, Marvin? I'm kind of allergic to MSG, so not much, honestly. Have you tried uni? No, I haven't tried that. Can you play Golden Brown? I cannot. Pascal's great. Has great chops. What inspired the purchase of your new telly? Well, I sold an archtop, and a really nice archtop. It's of the Angelico, and because I have a 175, it's a great guitar. I sold it to a student, which, I don't really sell gear very often. But that one was just like sitting right there on the wall, and I played it for a long time, until I got my 175, and it was like my main jazz guitar until then. And I was just like, yeah, this guy, really like is a good move for everybody. So yeah, I just had this cash, and I was just like, I'm not gonna put this in the bank and have it turn into like digital numbers that the government deflates. I'm gonna turn it into a thing, and I bought a guitar. What's up, Eric? Um, so yeah, I just went to the store, started pulling stuff off the wall, Chicago Music Exchange, close to where I live, and yeah, there was this one guitar, and a student of mine actually works there, and he was just feeding me guitar after guitar, and I was hanging out there. Nathaniel Murphy was there too, and he was giving me advice on you know, which guitars are worthwhile, and then this one was just, I guess it sat there for a long time, and they knocked the price down quite a bit. It was like $3,000 instead of like 4,500. It was labeled as used, even though it was new, and just because they were trying to push it. And I played like, I don't know, 25 of their tellies, and eventually it was just like, man, I really like this one. What amp right now? This is a Suhr Badger. Don't recommend it. Don't buy that one. Suhr has great amps, just not that one. You know, Suhr, the OD100, or the OD50, if you can find one. It's very hard to find, but that's a fucking killer amp. That's my favorite. Just got a Squire Tally Infinity actually plays decent for whooping $300. Yeah, Squire is actually, I mean, a lot of custom shops in Squires to me are indistinguishable. Let's see. What do you like amp-wise then? I like the OD100 by Custom Audio Electronics, which doesn't exist anymore, but you can still find them on Reverb for like between $2,000 and $4,000. They go for just great amps. Greatest channel switching amp of all time. Do you play spread triads enough? I don't play them almost at all, which I think is enough. As long as it feels good in your hands is worth buying. Yeah, the problem with like spread triads, they're just difficult to pick when you're playing them in lines, so it's just like it's always going to be like one note per string stuff. So it's like it's like the kind of people that play them, it's almost like etude when they do it, because it's shit you have to think about, or hybrid pick, but what it really does, like like Julian Lodge, like he has like these etudes from like 15 years ago when he first started that are all spread triads, and because the interval structures are so wide, it really sounds like it has that Bach fugue feeling of like 3 lines moving, like a low one, a middle one, and a top one, which is cool. I'm not against it. The only issue with Squire guitars is don't take it on tour. The guitar goes crazy. Yeah, I mean, tuning is really the big fact. I mean, my James Tyler that's like insanely expensive is a piece of shit, goes out of tune all the time. My Suhrs are just so solid. Like you can take a Suhr, throw it in the back of the van in the dead of winter or in the middle of summer. You take it out of the case 2 days later, it's like the same. What do you think about Godin? They're all right. They're okay. It's like it's Canadian. They're all right. They get people think they're nicer than they are, which is true for both. What things do you do while learning to play or improvise over new changes? Um, it's like new changes and like it's like playing in odd times and shit like that is the same thing. Um, you just gotta do it. You gotta put it on or make yourself play the changes and just make it through it. Like that's the one thing people don't do enough. Like if you're trying to learn how to play in five or something, people try. It's like okay, like 1 2 1 2 3, 1 2 1 2 3, 1 2. Let's try to count. But you gotta just. It's kind of like swimming. It's like the mental preparation you take for it is like maybe important, but like it's like at a certain point you just gotta like go in the water and try to do it and not drown. Eric Johnson like spreads triad. Uh, yeah, no, it breaks things up. I agree. Ever played a Strandberg? Got one for my work from home setup. Yeah, I did play it. I have a student of mine that has one. I don't like it. I like the Kiesel's much better. Um, but I feel like it's boomer shit. Throw yourself in the pool, learning changes. Yeah, so it's like, you gotta eat shit. That's the thing that people don't like to do. But like you gotta think about, where what the harmony is telling you. I think that's a really key thing. Like rhythm changes, for instance. It's like something like everybody's just like, oh, it's like so fucking hard. And they like people like wait for I don't know Robbie Barnaby to put out a lesson to where they can have an opinion about how to approach it. But like all you gotta listen to it and see what it wants you to do. So like you got to let's see. Um like if you listen to like let's say a rhythm changes, there are all these changes and the way that like most people, which I don't fault them for, it makes sense, start doing it is kind of like trying to play a line that's moving through every change. Like this continuous kind of eighth note line bebop phrasing thing. Uh, but you're missing the point of what the changes are trying to say, right? If you just think about like harmonically where it comes to rest, right? It's like a 1 6 2 5 rests on the one, right? So it's rest, go on a journey, arrive, go on a journey. Now people think about it kind of like a blues, like on measure 4, it goes to a B flat 7, so they try to, or measure 5, they try to like land the line there. But it goes to the 5 of 4, it's in motion. And then when it gets to the 4, that 4 doesn't stay there for more than a measure, and it's measure 6. It's a weak measure in the 8th measure form. So it's just pulling you back to 1, right? So that whole thing in rhythm changes, the harmony is screaming at you, and every melody that's written on it is sort of following that recipe to resolve it at specific places. So it's like resolution, 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 right? So it's like those are the points you need to aim at rhythmically. And if you do that, like even playing simple shit, not hitting any changes, the phrasing starts making sense. So like, can you play guitar while smoking weed? Uh, wow, that was really helpful. Yeah, so like every tune's like that, like Autumn Leaves is going to places, right? Like Autumn Leaves, boom, journey again, arrive. So you gotta understand the points that the harmony is moving towards. And once you can do that, It doesn't mean that that's the phrasing of every melody you improvise, but if you end at a place where it's not in sync with where the harmony is telling the story, then it make the harmony colors your phrase as a question. So if you think about I got rhythm, I got rhythm. It ends on the 5 chord, but it's a question, right? Ba da da de, de do de da. Even though that's like it's like the 5 of the scale. It's the root of the 5 chord. Da 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 de, de be do de do do. Right. So you got to think about it like that. Cowbong. Hello from Brazil. Hello. Danny, if you're dealing with 4/4, the bebop scale could be used boomerang stuff. Yeah, I'm not into the bebop scale. Let's see. Can you play the original riff? What's your biggest pet peeve? מה זה קאובונג? למה אתה כותב באנגלית? Okay. Let's see. That's wild, playing jazz with a Strandberg guitar. Yeah. Anyways. What? Any 8-note scale is going to boomerang definitely. Yeah, no, it's true. I'm not denying it. It's just, I just find 8-note scales to be kind of useless. Glad I have a fan of the hair. I'm getting a lot of hate for the hair online. People have been talking about my receding hairline, and I got some pictures from my mom when I was like 3 with the same exact hairline. So I'm glad it's holding. I'm not glad that I was born with this, but we each have our own crosses to bear. Are the backing tracks just single note vamps? Yes, they are. I really love practicing with single. I mean, a lot of guys are like, obviously asking me like, you can play some changes. Why? Practice with that. And the reason is that you have to practice your moves. It's kind of like the way a computer just reboots. That's how I think about it. You have to make new physical connections, and you have to reduce the CPU that changes take to a minimum often. It doesn't matter if you get good. Like, it's not about knowing where the notes of C Dorian are. It's about making the body able to connect more shapes fluently. So even if it's very, very like, very subtle changes, you want your flow to get better. You always want to search for new movement and things you're not accustomed to doing. And it's like practicing is about reducing CPU usage from certain area of your brain and allocating it to others. And people that practice with very